I just had a realization, and it's so simple. It's so simple that it appears mundane in a way, for me at least, but here it is. So, it doesn't matter if truth sounds harsh or even horrible, if it sounds gentle and compassionate. It only matters that it is the truth. And independent of what form that truth comes in, if it is the truth, then it's going to heal and restore both the people which hear it and the world. Truth is the only thing that can heal the world. Only truth can heal and restore the world to its true, natural, original form. So sometimes truth speaks harshly. Sometimes truth speaks gently. Truth, let me put it in a different way. Because what's the form of truth? What's the form of love, let's say? Is love always kind? Is love always compassion? Or can love be a stern word, attitude, behavior, even a harsh one? Is love only a gentle embrace, or can also be sometimes what appears as pain? But see, here is where I believe most of this reality and the people in it has gone wrong, where most of this reality has gone wrong, and where most people have been employing wrong behaviors. I believe that most people, for example, when faced with a certain situation, they react instinctually, almost falsely to it. We are habituated to react from instincts within us which are by design dysfunctional. So most people react unconsciously, and thus they provoke a dysfunctional action into the reality around them. And what is a dysfunction? Well, I'll tell you how I view it and how I also know it to be. It's far from being only a subjective perception. I know this is the objective truth. A dysfunction, it's only a distortion of the truth. So when people react automatically through this habitual dysfunctional instinct, that's when they create a false response into the world. They bring up into the world a falsity. They distort the truth. They cannot speak nor express the truth. So for example, let's take an example. Let's say two people are arguing. One has this loud voice and it's an accuser and what would be usually seen as a narcissist, or one of these people like blah 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 blah, you caused that, you did that, blah blah blah, accusing and being almost like verbally violent and so on, emotionally violent and so on, maybe even physical violence. So the other one is the victim, you know, oh yeah, I didn't knew, you know, oh, I just try to make you happy and blah blah blah, you know. Now let's take the abuser role. This abuser, when it reacts in this way, it does it unconsciously. It reacts from internal scripts or instincts, which are one and the same. Dysfunctional internal instincts, dysfunctional internal scripts, which just play out automatically, and the abuser is just an abuser, instinctually. Now, in order to bring truth in this reality, there is one single quality that has to be met. You have to be present. In order to bring truth in this reality, it requires your conscious presence. Whenever you are unconscious of yourself, even if you are a kind one, or let's say not so kind one, you know, like a harsh individual. If you are unconscious, if you are acting automatically, then you are going to bring falsity into the world. Even if you're a nice person, you are still going to do evil upon the world, thinking you're doing a good deed. Truth, which is the ultimate goodness, can only be brought forth in the world when we are consciously present, when our awareness is present here, in this moment, in this totality, which could be called this moment. Whenever we are present here and we act from presence, then that's how truth is brought into the world. And make zero mistake, truth is going to speak harsh sometimes. Truth can even appear as violence. But usually what I've observed is like truth would rather do things peacefully rather than require violence. So, but nonetheless, truth, from my experience, is definitely going to be harsh when it needs to be harsh. It's definitely going to even make somebody suffer when that somebody has to suffer. But truth is also gentle. Truth is also the one which is there to pick that person up and to help it out genuinely. Truth is also 100% empathic. And for example, what I've observed is when truth knows it has to do an action which is going to harm the other person, truth is there to also feel that harm with that person. It never leaves that person alone to suffer alone. No, truth is fully responsible in all moments. So when truth creates a harm upon that person, knowing we have to go through this, truth takes that harm upon itself as well. And it feels all that pain with that person 100%, feeling that pain 100% as one would feel it on itself. Now let's see what falsity or the true evil does. Well, let's take the case of the abuser, okay, that was yelling and blah blah blah. When this person acts unconsciously towards that victim and it yells and blah blah blah, you did that and blah blah blah, you know, that person is not present in the moment. That person is not present with the other person in front of it in order to connect with presence, to connect with spirit, to connect with truth, and deliver what the moment has to be for both. No, that abuser is just wrongly being harsh. That's the wrong form of harshness. Because that moment might not require harshness. But the abuser not being connected to the moment, it's gonna just run by scripts, creating something which the moment does not require. And that's a true form of harm. Because you're doing a harshness that was not required. And that's when you injure life for real. You do a harm which is not required. And that's a true injury upon life. That's an injury which takes life so much to recover from. It takes another individual that can see that injury and heal it. Life cannot recover on its own, by the way, it needs us. So this is the difference between a legitimate, genuine, harsh behavior, which reacts in the moment, being connected to the presence of life itself, being consciously present, completely empty-minded, completely neutral of heart, let's say. And from that pure neutrality, one sees that sternness and, let's say, even harshness, and even, let's say, an angry word has to be applied in a certain moment. And one does it exactly when it is felt and indicated by life. And in that moment, when that harshness is done, when it is truly needed, then you will see, if you manage to get to this point, that that act, which becomes the rightful act, is healing the world. It's healing the other person. Make zero mistakes, by the way. Especially in the spiritual communities, there are these preconceptions that, oh, we can heal each other or the world if we are only nice and gentle and compassionate. That's become because people came from a lot of preconditioning, living a life of many horrors that has been done upon them unconsciously by unconscious individuals. They didn't deserve that wrong behavior which was applied to them, and that was a rape, and that was an injustice that was done to them. But from that preconditioning, because they were preconditioned to a lot of harm by abusers which were harsh but in a wrong way, now they are demonizing the harshness of life. They are demonizing pain, they are demonizing anger, they are demonizing all these emotions which in the past have been used to harm them. And by demonizing these emotions and calling them negative, like anger is demonized, a harsh word is demonized, people making fun or mock others are demonized. So many things are demonized now, and for folks in the spiritual communities, they are trying to go into the opposite direction and never do those things. Never be angry, never laugh or mock somebody, never apply harshness, always be kind, always be merciful, always, be nice to people, be compassionate, and all of this. That's as wrong of a behavior as the one which was previously applied to them. You can never fix the world, or your life, or the life of others, only if you stick to compassion, niceness, and gentleness. You can never fix the world only with half of the tools that you have in your disposal. You have an internal toolset which comprises of all of these emotions. Like, you have the ability to be gentle. You are a gentle individual. You have the ability to be compassionate. You have the ability to be nice. But you also have the ability to be harsh when harshness is needed. You also have the ability to be stern when sternness is needed. And you also have the ability to say things up front, even though you know that saying the truth is going to create pain on the other person. And you have to do it if it is called in the moment. If that's the right thing in the moment. By the way, even if a thing is true, it's not required that you immediately spit it out. You know, sometimes life is going to indicate when that truth has to be delivered. It's not that, oh, now I know the truth, I'm just going around and spit it out to everybody and I don't care about what they feel, because it is the truth. Man, we need so many skills on this path, because it's not only that now, let's say, we have access to the truth and we can know the truth. There is also a lot of self-mastery, and there's a lot of wisdom needed. We have to grow so much wisdom in order to know how to correctly apply that truth into the world. So the synthesis of this would be, never think that to be spiritual means to only be compassionate. Never think that to be spiritual means to only, smile and be understanding and compassionate and merciful and gentle. Truth sometimes is going to require the warrior in you, and you are going to be needing to be able to be harsh and to be stern and to say things up front and to know that other person is going to get hurt. But again, this is going to be a legitimate and genuine form of hurt. You are going to hurt the other person, but it's gonna be the healthiest choice. It's gonna be the healthiest thing that has to happen. And you are gonna heal that person by hurting it. And you are going to notice that with some people you can try your nice behavior, let's say, for years. And I've tried it, and I know this from experience, because I've been this person. I've been the nice girl. I've been the nice one. I was preconditioned to niceness and compassionate. And I gave myself, and I gave myself, and I gave myself to the people around me, only to see that as much as I would give myself to them, their life was deteriorating. They became more ruthless. They became more uncaring towards life. They didn't care about others or their own life or themselves or, their environment. They became spoiled. It's only after I started becoming stern with them, even though I know I hurt them, but this time I did it consciously, and it took everything in me to make them consciously suffer. It took everything in me, because everything in me was preconditioned to niceness. Nothing in me wanted to harm life. But this is how I learned that sometimes you have to create the right form of harm, the right form of suffering, I would say, because I think the word suffering is more correct in this situation, because harm, energetically, the word harm sounds like the false version of suffering. When you create harm, usually it is an unconscious suffering that you're creating. But when you're creating a conscious suffering, a conscious choice, you say the truth, you deliver some message to a certain person, you know it's gonna hurt them, but you know they have to go through that hurt. That's something different. That's a legitimate form of suffering, of making somebody suffer. And if you are going to notice further what I've noticed, and I'm just at the beginning of this path, so it's like I've noticed how, surprisingly, when I hurt people in this way, consciously, and I deliberated upon it, like because I'm at the beginning of it, I question myself, no man, it's like there has to be another way. I don't want to do it. No, I knew I had to do it, but I didn't want it because I was so afraid, because what if they leave me? What if we never speak again? What if, you know? I didn't wanted to do it, although I know that was the truth, and although I knew that has to be done. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It is this truth in me which just signals that has to be done, that has to be completed. And I try to avoid it because I didn't wanted to do it. And then I deliberated for days or weeks, and finally I freaking did it. Consciously, very shortly, I said what had to be said. The other person got hurt. But what I've seen then is something which I never seen before with the false version of suffering. With the true version of suffering, when you are hurting somebody in the correct way, what I've seen is that, oh my God, man, it's like these people all of a sudden have so much power and wisdom to immediately not only recover from that pain, but also to immediately figure out things that were important to them in their life. It's like I've seen some radical changes in the people around me since I started doing this, and did it with many because I didn't have the courage, but I've seen some radical changes. Like these people truly started becoming more and more conscious of themselves, more and more. Like you could see the wisdom. It's like wisdom which has started growing in them. They were a different person, man. And the change was so enormous that I didn't expected it. That's the thing. I didn't expect it to be met. Next time I met that being, I thought that being will never talk to me again, you know. But I was ready for it. And then I've met that being after, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That being was a completely different person. First of all, it continued to talk to me. While in the past, when I would do the false version of harm, these people would abandon me. No, this person wanted to continue to talk to me, paradoxically. And the person itself, man, it was wise. It was wiser than I even thought it is possible. I never saw that person in my life being as wise as I saw it in that moment. Like the things that person started to say to me, and the way in which it said, it was so honest, so like, you know, let's cut the bullshit, and so truthful. Not kind, not harmful, just truthful, man. And I heard truth for the first time in my life from that person, and it was like mind-blowing. I never, in 30 something years of interaction with a certain person, I never saw them being as truthful as I seen them after I've made the courage to consciously make them feel pain. I was kind to this person for years of compassion, years of being close to this person, listening to his problems, giving things, material help to this person, and many other things. Being so close to this person, so close. And the life of this person was going more and more down, more and more deteriorating. And with only one single act of true, rightful, legitimate suffering, this person was another person after 2 weeks. And it was a really legitimate wisdom that spoke to me through that person. And I was mind blown because I wasn't expecting such. I didn't know all of this. I wasn't expecting this result. I only knew that truth in me spoke like, you have to do that, you have to say this. And I didn't want it. It's like, no, please. It's like, I don't want to lose this relationship also. Like, come on, dude. I don't want to do it, man. Please. And I did it eventually. And I wasn't expecting any results. I didn't know anything about the results, because there is no map, I have no book, I'm not following any guidelines, I only follow the thing within me, and everything is a moment by moment, day by day discovery. I don't know anything. I'm just learning as I go, and I'm learning from within, of course, the most authentic form of knowledge. And I didn't expect the results, but then I started to understand and saw with my eyes, and in the moment when I met with that person, it's just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe this happened. And now this person is constantly like this. It became like this. It's not like it had one moment when it met me then. No. I had multiple interactions with this person after that, and it still was in the same way. Same wiseness speaking to me from that person. Incredible. So, to conclude on this, make zero mistake and try to decondition yourself as much as possible from the preconditioning of only needing to be compassionate, only needing to be gentle, only needing to be nice. You have been, again, preconditioned more so by the current spiritual movement, which tells you like you have to be all of these things so you can ascend, so you can find union with God, so God can accept you in its heaven and so on. But I'm telling you, this is bullshit. It is freaking bullshit. I believe right now that in order to get to the true heaven, you have to be able to be both good and evil. But again, with the distinction that you have to be good and evil, but in the legitimate, rightful way, which can only come by full presence in the moment, full consciousness in the moment. If you are not acting from full consciousness, then you are creating evil in the world, even if you're a nice guy, even if you're a nice girl, or a compassionate individual, and you're trying your best, you're sweating your ass off to be nice. And I'm telling you, the gates of heaven are going to remain close to you. You can stay here for 10,000 more lifetimes, perfecting your compassion, perfecting your niceness, but unless you integrate those other tools as well, and you are able to be stern when you have to be stern, when you are able to say the truth, when even if you know you are gonna hurt the other person, but if truth indicates that that's the rightful thing in the moment, you have to be able to do the right thing, independent of polarity. I believe this is what gets the gates of heaven to open up. So many people, again, in the spiritual communities have been brainwashed and preconditioned again to only choose the good, to only choose the angel side, to only be nice and compassionate and so on. And by fearing the other part of themselves, which is the one which is able to use anger when anger is needed, the one which is able to be stern when sternness is needed, they are gonna remain only half. They are not gonna be completed individuals. It's so ironic in a way, because the current spirituality speaks so much about wholeness and integration and all of that, but the same teachings and the same spirituality speaks about being kind and nice and compassionate. Nobody teaches the true golden science of life, which is the integration of all the parts of ourselves and being able to use everything that we have, but in the right way. Maybe not so many situations need harshness. Maybe not so many situations need anger. Why would I be angry, for example, when I'm in nature? Or why would I be angry when I'm with a decent human being or with a poor, like, little kitty? Why would I be angry with them if nothing wrong happens? Why would I be angry with them? Of course, within such situations I show the purest love, the purest parts of me, because I want to play with the kitty, you know, I want to be playful and I want to play. And maybe in nature, I just, you know, I'm in the reverence of life. But then if I see an abuse happening, if I see even a cat, let's say, doing something which is completely wrong, I might use anger. I might use anger to make that situation stop, because if I'm present in the moment, of course, and I'm not acting out of scripts, I'm not acting out of robotic preconditioning, of course. But if I'm staying in the moment and I understand that a harsh or sharp word has to be said right now, then I do it. Even though I might feel afraid that, oh, what would that other person do to me, you know, if I say this harsh word, sharp word. Even if I might be afraid of consequences, I say the harsh word, because that harsh word is what it is needed in the moment, and that's how I understood that that's what truly heals the world. To finish up where I began, when we are able to bring truth into existence by acting out correctly the needed emotion that life needs us to do and to put into practice right now, even if that needed emotion is, let's say, anger or compassion or caring or gentleness, but as much as we remain faithful to life and what life needs from us, that's when we bring truth into existence, because there is no opposition. See, truth wants to come out in a certain way. Let's imagine spirit right up there, you know, up there is like this writer or painter, right? And it wants to paint the painting. It wants to put a bit of color black there because it knows why it needs the color black. We don't, but it knows. And now imagine he wants to put the color black, but here there is opposition. No, I won't do that. No, choose another color, man. Like, come on, can't you choose pink? He's like, I'm afraid of putting black here. Like, who knows what will happen if I put black? See, the tool itself, we are the tool of God. We are the tool of spirit. We are its paintbrush. And he's the painter. And the thing is that we are like a naughty, untamed paintbrush. We have to tame ourselves. And we have to listen to spirit. And whatever spirit has to bring into existence, that thing has to be brought like that. This is, of course, obvious that this is the same thing as doing the will of God. When spirit has a certain intent and a will to accomplish something, us, which are its tool, its instrument, we have to do it. If there is any opposition here, any preconceived notions like, no, I have to only act like that and look like that and behave like that and so on, then the spirit is not gonna be able to use us correctly. We are gonna be like a unresponsive tool, like a paintbrush that you want to use it and it doesn't work. It's just like a broken thing, you know. You just get annoyed with it and you stop using it, you know. Like, how is it for you when you try to do something in like a software? I have a mouse that I just bought recently, and now the mouse, I try to use it, but whenever I point it at something, it goes a bit like tick somewhere else, and God, just I want to throw it to the trash, you know. Such an annoying experience, because I want to put and I'm painting something in digital art, and it's just, you have to have precision in this process. And then I'm putting there and it goes somewhere else. And it does this over and over again. Now you just get frustrated and you want to replace it. Of course, you're not gonna be working with such an instrument. And this is why we have to tame ourselves, because spirit is going to start using us as tools, as its instruments, but after we are able to listen to spirit properly and do what spirit needs. So if there is any opposition here at the level of our character, and we are afraid and we are ashamed and blah blah, and we are preconditioned to either be always bad or always good, you know, then spirit is not gonna be able to use us. There is gonna be no true spirit in our life. pouring from us. Another thing that I want to say, because many people have heard me in these videos mocking things, and I was laughing at things, and I was mocking society, and I have to say, man, those things that I said, they were true. And that mockery was needed. I had zero preference when it happened. And when I'm making these recordings, by the way, I am in a complete full zero inside. I have zero. There is blank in me. It's just full neutrality. So yeah, I was mocking people and environments or other things that I said about society and music and so on, because that was needed. That had to come out exactly in that way. And I had zero preference in it. I knew I was looking bad, but should I what? Should I have just shy away from it? See, once you start this path, you have to devote yourself. You have to give yourself to spirit fully, because you can't, like, spirit is not a market, you know. You can't pick, oh, I'll do this wheel of spirit but not that wheel of spirit, because it doesn't work this way. So yeah, all those mockery and everything that I've said, and even the bad things, were fully conscious. I was fully conscious of them. There was zero roboticism there. There was zero unconscious instincts. It was fully conscious. So going forward, this is my message, that we have to find again our true authenticity of being by dissolving as much as we can all opposition here at the level of our character, so we can do the will of spirit, so we can bring truth into the world. Because this truth that can only come from spirit, and the mystery and the secret and the magic is that it can only come from spirit, but it can only be accomplished by us. Spirit cannot accomplish its will, its vision, and its intent without us. We are its instrument. We are its paintbrush, and the world is the canvas. Spirit could stay there and, you know, emit will and intent all day long, but if we do not do anything with it, if we do not hear it, or if we hear it but we don't have the courage to accomplish it, then nothing is going to change in the world, because there is gonna be there are going to be few to none true instruments of spirit active here in this plane, changing the world by doing the will of spirit, by bringing truth into existence, by allowing that flow of life to pour unobstructed from spirit through me, touching life and thus changing life. Imagine that the life around us is the feminine. It's matter. It is her. It's the feminine. Spirit, it's outside of matter. He's out there, let's say, outside of this whole creation. He's emitting will in us, through us, and we are the bridge between spirit and matter. We are the bridge between him and her. We are the middle way. We are their children. And they talk through us. And spirit touches her through us. And as much as we are able to bring something true from spirit into existence, we give life to her. We bring her to life once again. We resuscitate her. She's dead right now. How many people in this reality right now are doing truly the will of spirit? How many people are bringing true truth into existence? She's dead because there are so few people which are able to bring truth into existence and thus give her the water of life, basically. Make her come to life by touching her with the essence of her lover, spirit, truth. She needs to be touched by this essence of spirit. The only touch that can wake her up, it's the touch of spirit. And the touch of spirit, it is this truth that comes out of us when we do the will of spirit. When we say the right thing from this state of full consciousness, presence and neutrality. This is how you revive the world. But first you have to clean yourself, because our systems naturally, in this reality I mean, unnaturally, but preconditioned, in this reality we are born into, with instruments which misbehave. We are born with instruments which have a lot of dysfunction in them, a lot of impurities that have to be cleaned. You have to tame your animal, you have to tame yourself, you have to clean your heart, you have to purify your heart. Otherwise, spirit might try to work through you, with you, but it might not be able to get its job done, because your animal, your instrument, it's still too filled with dysfunctions. It opposes the will of spirit. It doesn't want to do the will of spirit, and thus you become, let's say, a unworking part, like a misworking tool. You can't be used. You can't be used in this operation. You have to clean yourself, you have to train yourself, you have to tame yourself, tame your animal, tame the dragon, which is this animal which you inherit. So going forward from here, it's not only me through my voice and through these messages that I am going to continue trying to bring as much truth as possible through my instrument, through the will of spirit, but it's also going to be a direct invitation and a direct support, because I'm here. That's another part which I'll discuss in a different video. Direct support for us together to learn how to do this, to learn how to clean ourselves, purify our hearts, tame our dragons, and thus start being these magnificent golden tools of spirit in the world. We are their bridge between spirit and matter. We are their children. We have to become the children that we are meant to be. And I am here for anyone who is truly serious about this. I'm here for us to truly teach each other and to truly learn together how this is done, because I can tell you this knowledge is not free. This knowledge is not given right now into the world. Look everywhere you want in the public, what information you can find in the public, and I'm telling you, you are not going to find the true knowledge, because there is nowhere. We have to remember it, we have to give it to each other, we have to help each other out. We have to learn how to purify our hearts, tame our dragons, perfect our doing the will of spirit, and come together. It's much easier together. It's much easier when we are together, and we, even if it's hard, at the same time it's easy and it's hard, because there are numerous factors, numerous dysfunctions, of course, that happen when we come together. We have to pass a lot of trials. It's gonna be painful. By the way, this journey which I'm speaking about, it's a journey of pain. There is zero nice, and pleasant. Only this journey that I'm here. God, should I say this? See, this is the right word, but I'm so afraid to say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm here to lead this. So this journey that I'm here to lead it, it's far from being only a nice journey. This is going to have pain in it, it's going to have struggles. But if we keep to each other, if we keep our hands together, never splitting them apart anymore, then I know we are going to not only walk through this valley of death, who knows how many of them, but we are going to pierce. Not only that we are going to pierce through the other side, we are going to create empires of life on the other side, still together, man. It's always together. And the power that we have together is unmatchable. Unmatchable. So this is going to be a journey of fire and ice. And we are going to pass through both of them. And we are going to learn how to tame our dragons, how to clean our hearts, how to purify them. And we are going to remember together, because each of you have a piece of the puzzle. I can't remember everything on my own. I will never be able to. And you won't be able to. And no one of us, neither one of us is able to complete this journey on its own. And take away from your head this idea that you can find enlightenment, or that you can find union with God, or that you can ascend or get to heaven or whatever, get to nirvana or whatever on your own, because that's false. If you get to that nirvana, it's gonna be a false nirvana. The true nirvana, the true life, is only here to receive us if we come all together. We are not, neither of us is going to be accepted into heaven if it doesn't bring everybody else. That's another deception of the spiritual movement, of the current spiritual movement, I mean, which has tried to make individuals believe that they can attain enlightenment on their own. That's false, 100%. And this is how many people got stuck. Again, they got stuck, but there's zero problem. Truth is going to reveal itself more and more. We are going to understand things more and more, and we can unstuck ourselves. We can aid others, give them a hand, pull them from the pit that they are in, bring them back on the path. If we are together, nothing is impossible. And if we are split apart, everything becomes impossible. We all hold the keys to one another. We have so much to give to each other, from wisdom and knowledge, and so many skills and gifts, and nobody knows how to do it all. Nobody knows it all. Nobody can do it all. We have to save each other. We are our own salvation.